Hey guys, good morning, good evening. Okay, I see two people here. Let's
Hello,
wait for others. Hello,
good evening.
good evening. Oh, I see a new name, Mayowa. Oh, nice. So my name is Ankit Mayowa. I hope I'm saying the name right.
Yeah, you're right. Nice to
Oh,
meet you.
nice to meet you, my friend. Let's give it another minute for people to join. I don't know where these guys are. Okay, I'm going to be back in 2 minutes, and I'm hoping people start joining by then. Let's hope so. I'll ask Sachin to send a message also. So just bear with me. I'll be back in 2 minutes, okay? Need to get some water.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Hello all.
Right. Yeah, I'm back, guys. So I can see. Oh, so Venki, you're on now. What was
Yeah,
something wrong with the link?
yeah, I need to restart my system.
Oh, okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
That's okay.
And thanks for waiting for me. Thanks, guys.
Sure. All right. So, some new people have joined. Let's go back on mute, everybody. Like I said, uh, I would give you enough time to ask your questions. Today is only the second class. We literally just started yesterday. So if you have missed the class yesterday, please make sure you ask your respective admins to get the recording and you can go through it. It's not really much that we covered, but today's class is really important. So let me quickly send a message to the Indian team as well. Where are these guys? I see only Tommy and Jen. Okay. All right. I hope everybody can start joining on time from tomorrow, so that we can save some time on this. But since I know few people we're just starting, so might take a while. All right. So before I start, any questions from yesterday, whatever we discussed? Right. Sounds like everybody understood what we were talking about. So today we are going to see string indexing and slicing a little bit more in details, right? So before that, let's understand a few quick inbuilt functions that we have in strings. I'm not going to go through all of them. Remember, I showed you guys yesterday. You can look through it and go through it. I'm not saying just run through them. And yes, all these. Oops, what happened? Oh, sorry, I moved. So all these underscore underscore ones, some people like to call them double underscore. I just call them underscore underscore. All these are inbuilt functions or dunder methods. We're going to talk about this when we do class inner objects, which is way far, at least 3 weeks. So don't worry about these. Look at all of these to go through them. So always, like I said, you can create any string, whatever you like. Simple string would be str1 equal to hi, something like that, and then just do this. So capitalize will capitalize the whole thing, and so on and so forth. And just put this and hover on it, and you'll see what it does, and you can play around with it. That is the best way to go through these. Again, nobody expects anybody to remember all these functions. This is where, when you start working, or if you're already working, you want to migrate to Python, what you do is you use some sort of Google, because at what time, what kind of a function you would have to use, you don't know yet. But having said that, I highly recommend to at least go through the list, because you want to get familiarized. For example, a very simple example would be if I use this, and then if I say print str one dot split, for example, right? Now, when you read it, it could confuse you a little. So the best way is to try it out. So return a list of the substrings. So of course, we haven't started what list is, because we just started. List will be tomorrow's or day after tomorrow's topic. But of the substring in the string using separator as the sep as the separator string, which simply means you have to provide some character where you want the string to be splitted. Simply, if I do P, for example, then I'll get thing different and this as different. The caveat is, and that's what you get to do when you practice these things, you'll see P will go missing. See, thing and P is gone, because that's how split works. It removes the separator. It talks about the separator also. Sep is the separator used to split the string. So it gives you a lot more details here where you can go through it. But point to remember is it needs a character which you will give inside the string where you want the string to be splitted. Second point to remember that is that particular character will be not available in the splitted string. And when you're splitting the string, that means you want to have it in half or at least more than one string. So what you see here is a list. How do I know it's a list? Because list starts with these square brackets. That's all you need to know about list today, because we're going to have a full session on list a day after tomorrow. So my point is, again, go through these inbuilt functions, and I can only talk about a few of them, because otherwise the whole class and whole time will go in this only. And this is not that important, because at the end of the day, when you start working, you would forget all of these anyway. So you'll have to go through them again. But again, I'm saying, as of now, you should try a few so that you get used to this, essentially. Excuse me. So there is some more examples that I want to talk about, or some more things. So for example, if I write a mobile number, so generally mobile numbers are of 10 digit, right? So I'm just going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We generally write it like this, or we sometimes like write it like this, right? Now, first, before even I go ahead, my question to you is, so for those who are joining today, I have two golden rules, which is top to bottom and left to right. So your interpreter always goes top to bottom, and every line it goes left to right. That is the most important rule. So here, when we are at line number 18, what I'm going to do again, left to right. So all the way till here, it doesn't know what kind of a value I'm going to get. Because Python is a dynamically typed language, we only get to know when we run it. This is explained nicely in yesterday's class. So now when we go here, what do we see? 1, 2, 3, which is nothing but numbers, which is integer. So until here, it will know that it's an integer type. But what is this? Can anybody tell me? Is it zero? Is it null? Is it no value? Anybody knows?
Space.
Exactly. It is space. And space is a character in itself. It has its own ASCII value. So never think of it treating as a zero or a null or no value. It has its own value. Just that it is used like this doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It is basically a single character which is space, and it has its own value. So now what do you see? You see integer and then a space, which like I just said, it's a character. So we have a mixed type of value here, which is integer, string again, and then integer again. So what do you think? Will this be treated as some particular variable or not? Or will it be treated as a value or not? Rather, that is the question. So if I print, I should get the same value, or what will I get? Anybody? Based on the explanation that I just gave you.
1, 2, 3.
That's a good
Error.
guess. Good, very good. So the two answers are, and this is how I do, guys, for the new people. I'll write the options before I run it. So one person is saying error, one person is saying 1, 2, 3. Both are very good guesses. Anybody else? Okay. So 1, 2, 3 is a good guess. Why? Because I know what you're thinking. The Python interpreter will go left to right and it will only take this much. But again, that would have been the case if there was nothing here, meaning this was not there. Then this space or 100 spaces don't make any difference. Why? Because left to right and you're done here. You know clearly that Python interpreter is expecting an integer value and you have that. But instead, what do we have? We have one space followed by another integer. So now this is clearly an error because there is no way you can have a data type which will save integer or automatically detect an integer plus a space. So if I run this, this will give an error. See, invalid syntax. Now how can we fix it? Very simple fix. Anybody?
Place it under quotes.
Exactly. Just use it as a string. So even though it is inside a string, but now this will be, can you guys please go on mute, everybody? Don't forget the ground rules, please. Once you've answered, all of you go back on mute. Thank you. So now this is no more an integer, even though it is digits, but it is no longer an integer. Why? Because again, left to right, the moment you see this, the interpreter sees this, it knows whatever is coming next here, this is nothing but a string. And it doesn't have to care. It could be anything. It could be multiple line, depending on the syntax. It could be whatever it is inside the strings. Clear? Any questions? And there you go. And when you print it, it prints just like that. Because in the string, you won't get the quotes in the output. But how can I prove it to you? Again, let's use the type function, which we learned yesterday. It should give us class string. There you go. Right? Any confusions, questions here?
No.
Good. So generally when I ask any questions, I wait like for a minute. And if I, oh, not a minute, for 30, 40 seconds. If I don't see anybody go unmute, I'll just consider no questions. But thank you for confirming. All right. So next is something similar. So, but before that, you guys understood, right? This is how we're going to use big integers where either we have space or something like that, and we're going to convert them into integers. Now, if I had to tell you another one, I'm just trying to remember the other example. So yes, there's another one wherein we check if this particular string ends with a particular character or not. So what you're going to do is print str1 dot ends with. See, let's first look at the definition quickly. Again, for now, don't worry too much about it, what it is saying. Just concentrate on these things. After this arrow, let me get my pen. Oh, it just goes away. 1 second. Come on. Yeah. So this arrow simply tells you what this function is returning, right? And again, don't worry, we're going to talk about this in way too much detail when we go to functions. But right now, just remember one thing, whatever you're passing to this function, you are going to get in return a bool. Bool is nothing but either a true or a false. Only two values are possible, true or false. That's it. And there you go. It says return true if the string ends with the provided suffix. Suffix is nothing but, if you look, str, which is string only. So in my case, if I pass a string, so again, for those who joined recently, in Python, there is no data type called as char, but there is in other languages like C++, Java, all these languages, there it is, where you call just for one particular character, char. But in Python, even a single character like this is also a string. So that is what I meant here, and that is what they mean here. You can pass a string. So in this example, if I pass I, the output would be true. That is what it is meant by returning a bool. That means it can either return a true or a false. So of course, my Think Python AI ends with capital I, and it is going to give us answer as true. There you go. Now, very important thing, all of these are case sensitive. So even if I give I, the small I, it is going to give us false because it is case sensitive. There you go. So you have to remember this part. There is, in fact, another function which will take care of this if you want to. Um, and that is something you can use it as an assignment also to find out how can we convert a particular string into camel case. So camel case simply means you can pass all the characters in any form and fashion. Think Python AI as in T capital, P capital, AI capital, or everything small or everything capital. It will basically convert it into camel case, which means everything will be the same, all small case, basically. So that is very often used when we work with strings, because otherwise, see here, even though we meant the same thing, but it becomes little difficult to work with these things. Any questions so far? Okay. The important thing is, or the important inbuilt function is a find function. So str1.find. What does find do? Find will take a string, as you can see, and will return an integer. So what does it mean? And this is where I'm bringing the index concept now. So it says return the lowest index in the string where the substring is found. So for example, this is my string, right? If I want to, so let's take a bigger one this time. Something like this, right? So now in this case, what I'm going to do is str1.find, I'm going to just pass the whole substring, which is good. What I'm going to get back is something which you're going to understand next, the index of this string. So what is an index? How is it stored? That is the next thing that we're going to learn. But to answer to answer this question, or let's first learn indexing and then we'll come back to this. Let me remove it. Again, like I said, today's class is very important because we're learning indexing and slicing, and this concept it never changes for anything else. It remains same throughout. So learn indexing and slicing today, and the same thing applies to list, same thing applies to tuple, in dictionary, everything. So that's why this is very important. So what is indexing? Let's take a very simple example. Sport equal to baseball, right? What happens now, before I even go ahead, some refresher for yesterday people and those who are new, something new for you. So when you go top to bottom, left to right, the moment interpreter sees something like this, what it is going to do, so this is called an assignment operator. And how it is going to treat this line number one internally is that I have a value of type string, which is baseball. It doesn't care what is inside the string. For it, it is a do not care condition. All it knows is that I have a value of type string on the right hand side of my assignment operator. Equal to is called assignment operator. And I'm assigning this value to the variable on the left hand side, which is sport. Same way, x equal to 2 works. Here, 2 is assigned to a variable called x. As simple as that. Okay. So now, sorry, when we go back here, how this is internally stored in the memory. Again, the same way like I explained yesterday, it always starts with 0x because memories always start in or always stored in hexadecimal. So this is a made up number, this part that I'm doing. You can call it whatever, but in reality, it will be a huge number because it's an actual memory address. But this is just for understanding. So now what happens is you store the baseball like this, character by character. B, E, and L. All right. And this whole thing is called nothing but your variable sport. This is the variable that you're giving. Now, what happens is Python internally is going to assign it index values. The index values always start with 0. All right. So 0. And when you go in this direction, there is a reason why I'm talking about this direction, which you'll understand when we learn negative indexing. So right now, we're just talking about positive indexing. What happens is in this direction, it will keep on increasing, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? Now, this is how internally it is stored. It's very easy if I ask you to tell me how am I going to get this B printed or this A. So let's try this first. So very simply put, this is called indexing. What are you going to do? You're going to give the variable. Why variable name? Because this is the only way you can access this memory because you don't even know this memory address, right? That is why we give this variable names. So first this variable, and then with these brackets, square brackets, I think they call it, you're going to give this index value. So if you give 4, how it will work? Same deal again. I'm going to give you 4 here and show you in a minute. It will go from here, left to right, like I said, correct? And then it is going to count from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is going to give us this B. So the output of this will be just B. So let's try it. Let me clean it up, this part. All right, let's run it. So clearly now you can see, okay, let me first again go back to this, my left to right. So print already we discussed yesterday, it's a function, inbuilt function, and all Python interpreter knows is whenever you see this function, you're going to pass this value, and whatever this results into, we're just going to print it on the screen. This is called the output screen. So now go from left to right. So sport till here, till T, when we go, interpreter is going to do one thing. It is going to look up in its memory, which is this. Do I have a variable called sport? Yes, I do. Then we move forward using this. The moment it sees this, followed by a variable name. All right, listen to me very carefully. When you see this square bracket followed by a variable name, Python interpreter knows we are talking about indexing. That is the only way we can do indexing. So now there's a value in it. Whatever value is there, this is your internal memory map, like I just showed you. It is going to go and access that memory, particular memory on that index, and that has value of B. So this will actually become B, and then print of B will give you B right here. Let's run it and see if this is right. And there you go. Got it? Anybody who did not get it? All right, good. Let's continue now. So, oh, I was just about to delete it. One second. So this, in simple terms, is called as indexing, that you provide a numerical value of the index or the integer value of the index, and the corresponding value there will be printed. You can do this for multiple examples and get practice yourself. But one thing I want to talk about, which is even more important now. So again, I'm going to use this same variable. So we discussed this in yesterday's class. This is top to bottom. So Python overrides whatever I'm going to do now. But I can't make that is a sport played in US, right? It's a sentence or yeah, it's a line basically. Now look at the memory map that I already have and answer me what will be the value that will be printed here. Can anybody tell me? So before anybody jumps the gun, look at this. Baseball is 7, so obviously if I keep extending it, your 8, 9, 10 will have these. So now, knowing whatever you know so far, you tell me what will be the output. Will it be I or will it be something else?
There should be a space, right, Ankit?
That's what
Empty.
I want you guys to answer the question. So I'm going with I1. Let me go back and write it here. Venki says not empty, space. I'm going with 1, and somebody said empty. So please define what do you mean by empty? What is empty?
Yeah, it's a space, it's a spring.
Okay, so you meant space in a string,
Yeah.
essentially this. Okay, anybody here who doesn't agree with this? Either of this, or I can even give error. Okay, good. So the answer is space, very clearly. Why? Because this is a space. And like I was explaining, the next line here, the way it will continue is this space, like somebody said it perfectly. The string with a space in it is on 8th index. Then on 9th index, it is I, then S, and then again, 10th index is nothing but a space, this space. So you have to be very careful when you're dealing with spaces because space in itself has its value. Like I said, you can check its ASCII value, Google that, and you'll know what the value is. So let's try it. And I think now I know what somebody said empty. So do not answer empty because empty is not really any type of a data type, right? We have to answer in terms of Python. It does definitely look like empty, but this is nothing but the space in the output. Anybody who did not get this? Okay, good. Let me erase all of it.
Can I ask you a basic question?
Yeah,
When you
go ahead.
toggle over, I'm not able to see the functions that you were showing earlier.
Remember, I said yesterday about the extension. Until you install Pylance, this would not work. That is the whole
Finance.
purpose of Pylance. Yes. So everybody
Okay.
who's joining new, this is from Microsoft. Earlier it used to be from Pylance. Pylance took the company. So just install it. When you'll search here in VS Code, so I did talk about VS Code also yesterday. So if you're new, please go through that session. It doesn't take much. You can run it on 1.25 speed because it's on YouTube. So you can easily do that and just go through it. But there I mentioned Pylance is the extension and only install this. In my previous batch, the batch that happens 1 hour before this, there are 2 people who installed something else, which came with CodePilot or something, and the whole assignments were ruined. So you make sure you only install Pylance. As of now, we don't need anything else. And that is from Microsoft. And you will see something like install here. Because I already have it, it shows uninstall. And once you do that, this, where is it? This pop-ups will start coming automatically. Sport, the moment you do dot, pop downs actually, these ones.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have the finance installed and I'm still not getting it. So I'll check with Sachin if he can help
No,
me
it's
out.
okay. We'll stay back. You and me can stay back after the call and we'll fix it. Don't worry.
Oh, I'll
Yeah.
connect with you tomorrow, not today, please.
Sure,
Is
sure,
that
sure.
okay? Thank
Yeah,
you very
that's fine.
much.
Also, just do this and see if you have at least 3.5 and above. And some people might, so the link that was shared in the group, that should have gotten you 3.14. But depending if you have a very old Python version, then also it could be a problem. So these are some tips you can try, but otherwise, whenever you're available, we'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So coming back to this. So this is the concept of indexing. The importance of indexing is so much because internally, Python uses exactly the way I was telling you. It's not a made up way. This is exactly how Python interpreter works. It will go index by index. Why? Because this, whatever you're writing here, is garbage for interpreter. Why I say garbage? Because it has no meaning for it. It's inside a string. All it has to do is it has to give the uh, memory address to it. That's all. Jen, yeah, Jen, that's fine. You can join by mobile, but I would highly recommend you go back on laptop once your laptop is up. I was just looking at the chat now. So that is a concept of indexing. Now let's talk about very important stuff, interviewer's favorite, which is called slicing. Okay. So here you have to be a little patient and hear me for the next 5-10 minutes because I have devised my own formula. First of all, let me tell this. There are multiple books, there are multiple places you'll see this, and everybody tries to use this in their own way. And the formula I'm going to tell you, I also didn't find it myself, but basically I found it through a book, which I really like. And once you understand this formula nicely, you will never have any issues in interviews when it comes to slicing and even negative indexing, which is actually more complicated. And that's why that's interviewer's favorite. So let's understand what I am talking about. But first, I want to tell you what slicing itself is. Okay. So slicing, as the name suggests, it's basically pulling out a slice. So let me give you another example. So I'm sure everybody has eaten pizza here or likes pizza, right? So pizza is generally round, correct? Now, when you see, this is how they cut slices in a pizza. So this is one slice. Then that's your second slice, third slice, fourth, and so on. So when you say, hey, I want, please give me one slice of pizza, what they do, they take this portion and give it to you, right? In order for them to know where, or the person who's cutting into slice, what are the information he needs? He needs two information. Where do I start? Where do I stop cutting? And how many amount of slices? So if it is one, he knows I have to start here and I have to stop here. Then again, I have to start here, I have to stop here. And that's how you get the slice out of the pizza and you eat it. It's exactly the same concept. Trust me. It's not that complicated as people think it is complicated. Now, in terms of Python or in terms of indexing or in terms of string or in terms of list, it's always the same. What is slicing? Let's say out of this huge sentence, I wanted to pull out just this that I'm highlighting is a. Now, this becomes a slice to my, yeah, Venki, that's fine. In my analogy of the pizza, what I need is the start index and the stop index. That's all I need. And how many slices I need in this case. So once you provide this, again, the syntax is same. The only difference is now we're talking about two things, start index, stop index, right? That's how you get the slice. So we'll use colon notation for that. So this will be your start index. This will be your stop index. Okay, let's see an example. So let's first understand again with this one. Let me call it sport one, and I can use sport for that one. So again, going by the same example, I'm going to say print sport, let's say 3:7. So even before I run it, let's go back to our notation. And I highly, highly recommend if you're new to coding or if you're new to this concept, you should do this on a paper or like I'm doing, whatever works your boat. Do not start trying to, if you're new, start directly like 0, 1, 2, because you're going to fail otherwise. So let's go back here. I'm again going to draw quickly. PASE. And there you go. Now let's follow the concept. If I want a slice, I will give a start value and I'm giving a stop value, right? So this becomes my whole slice, essentially, because I'm giving it 3:7. Now you can easily tell me the answer. Looking at this diagram, the answer will be what is three, what is at 3? E all the way here, B, A, L, L. So if I run this command right now, the output should be this. But there's one thing which is very important that we have to remember, which is why this formula is so important. So start index, obviously here's the variable, right? And this variable, why I'm saying variable and not string variable, like I'm repeating, it is the same concept in strings. Tomorrow when we learn list, then tuple, sets, not set, sorry, set do not follow indexing, dictionary, and then even going forward, everything. So that's why I'm just saying generally a variable here. That variable could be, right now it's a string, could be anything. Then colon. So colon is the syntax basically. stop index, and I'm going to write -1, but I'm writing it in the bracket. I'll come back to it why I'm doing that. And then step value, default equal to 1. So if you look at it, there are two colons that are needed here. Here I'm only giving 1. So when I'm only giving 1, that means I'm not giving this. And I've said default is 1. So we'll come to step value in a minute. Forget it for now. Let's just follow this. Start index, again, if you're not giving anything, the default is 0, meaning we start here at the 0th index. But here I'm giving 3. So I'm going to put my start index at 3 right here, right? So now I'm going to start from here. But this is the important piece. Stop index -1. What I mean by -1 is here it works that you can simply 7 minus 1, put the stop here. But what I'm going to tell you is very important. Listen to me very carefully here. And that is the reason I put it in bracket. All I mean here is that you start from here, but when you get to stop index, so I'm going in this direction. When I get to the stop index, the value that is given here, which is 7 in this example, I'm going to stop one value before. That is what I mean by -1 in the bracket. So in this case, it does happen to be 7 minus 1, which is 6, but I'm saying remember it this way. And you'll know why I'm saying it because the same formula will apply to negative indexing. But in negative indexing, if you directly subtract -1, then the answer will become wrong. So that's why do not subtract it, but remember it in this way that the direction which you're going in, stop one value before. That's all I'm saying. Because we're going in this direction, so we'll stop one value before. So one value before of the value that is given. Here the value is 7, so I'm going to stop at 6. So I'm going to put my stop index pointer or whatever you want to call it here. Start remains same, the 3, right? So now you're going to read, and this is my direction. So E, B, A, and single L. This won't be here because of this thing in the formula. Let's quickly run it and see if I'm right. And don't worry, I'm going to do more examples as well. Okay, let's go back and run it. So there you go, EBAL, like I said, right? So again, if you have to, or let's change it and follow it again. Let me do this time 2 and 5. So who can answer this one looking at the diagram here? And if you understood the concept.
SEB.
Anybody? I'm sorry?
Yeah.
EB. Okay.
SEB.
SCB.
Okay. So most of the people are saying SEB, right? Let's see. I don't even know myself. So applying the formula. Let me change the color. So my start is always whatever is given, 2. So yes, you're right. S is correct. Now put at 5, but you guys all were good remembering to stop one before. So technically, my stop will become this. And you're 100% right. SEB should be the right answer. Let's run it. And there you go. It's SEB, right? So it becomes very easy once you follow one particular concept. I could have told you the other ways also, but then you have to remember those formulas and those different ways of doing it. For positive indexing is different, negative is different. But here, this formula never fails. Okay. So far, everybody is clear? Any questions, any confusion?
Is there anything we can do to include the fifth?
Yes, I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
Exactly what I'm talking about now. So now let's talk about this because we were ignoring this so far, right? And when I'm doing this internally, Python is still treating it as 2:5:1. Why colon 1? Because like I said, if you don't give default, it will take as 1. So what is the step value? There is two very important aspects of this. The first one is it tells you the direction of going. So 1 is what? Positive, right? Positive 1. So that is why we are going in this direction. That is 1. Second, what Tommy was asking, how can we go or skip or add more stuff. So this comes to my again same example. Instead of 1, if you wanted to add, sorry, let me make it neatly. I'm trying my best with the mouse. So let's go back to our pizza example. Let's cut the slices. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Now here we were talking about only one slice. What if I tell the person who's cutting the slices, hey, I want 2 slices. Now he'll put start here and he'll put stop here, correct? Because this is 1 slice and this is 2 slice. So technically, what is he doing while doing start to stop? Earlier he was putting stop here, right? He's jumping 1. If I give the step value, if I give the 2 slices. Same deal in Python. If I change, let me clean this up. I'm not removing this because again, I'll have to spend time making it. So same deal with Python. If instead of this, I'm giving 2, right? And let's consider 7 here. What I'm going to do, same deal. First, apply the formula. Start index. There's no default here because we've already given 2. So I'm going to put 2 as the start. That's fair and square. Then you look here. Step value this time is 2. So this is treated as 2 colon 5 colon 2. This is how I'm giving. And this is what I'm talking about now. So 2 is here, start value. Then 5. But before that, or let's just put the stop value. So 5, meaning you're going to stop here. This you all know now. And then I'm saying step as 2, meaning I want a bigger slice, meaning I'm going to jump one value and I'm going to ignore this one, because I want start and then directly jump to the second slice, meaning we'll jump one value. So now my answer would be just S and P. Let's try it. Let me put it in the next line. And I'm saying this will be S and B. Let's see if my answer is right. And there you go. Correct. Let's make it a little bit more interesting. Anyways. Was 3. So let's go back here and let's take another example, which is I'm going to now say, and you guys are going to help me with this one. Let's keep the step as 2, but let's keep it as 7. So who can tell me this looking at the output? So of course, 2 is very simple. We're going to start here. Let me change the color. Right? Then where do I put the stop? Anybody? 7 or here? Here, right? One level value below, before. Then now my step value is 2. So I'm going to jump one by one. So first it will be S, then I'm going to skip this, then it will be B, then again I'm going to skip this, and then it will be L. And then I'm going to stop because my stop value is here. So S, B, L should be the answer now. Let's try it. There you go. Right? Same way, if I change it to now, if I change this to step value of 3, and let's start from 0 this time, right? So who can tell me this one? Anybody? Or let's do it together. So what is 0? That means this is my start. Then stop you already know because 1 before. Now my step is 3. That means I have to jump 2 values together. So not so first is this, not this, but then this, and not this, not this, and then again this. So the answer will be B, S. Sorry, I think I messed up something with the colors. B, then 1 and 2. Sorry, E.
BEL.
And then L. Yes, correct. Let's try. And there you go. Right? Anybody who's still not getting this, feel free. Like I said in the beginning also, you can ask me the question again, but don't ask me the same question after the 10th class, please. Okay, good. So the same concept continues if you have spaces here or like a big sentence also. Now let's understand the tough part of it, which is negative indexing. All right. So most of the times people get scared when they look at the name of negative indexing. But this is where your step value is really handy. So let's first understand basic math of our 12th grade. If you go back to our 12th grade math, this has nothing to do with Python, by the way. Excuse me. This is a way to remember this. This is your x-axis, right? And this is your y-axis. The intersection point is 0. 0 is always positive. There's no negative 0. This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Positive values. What is this? This is my negative x-axis, meaning -1, -2, -3, -4. So what do you notice here? This is +4 and continues. When you're going with positive values in positive x-axis, your direction is this, correct? This is the direction where you keep increasing. But if you closely follow negative indexing, you go in this direction. That's why -1 is higher than -4 always, not this side. So the negative axis direction is this. Same deal with y. I'm not going in y. I'm just talking about x and negative and positive x-axis. So I hope everybody remembers this. Now just remember this diagram when we're going to talk about negative indexing, because internally it is going to follow the same thing. So the same example, baseball, let's write it. And I'm going to show you with both the values. This could be a little challenging, but let's see. Let's understand nicely. So B. Now, look at this. We start from 0 and we go in this direction. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Correct? So we are following in this direction now, which is positive x-axis. Now, if I wanted to represent the same thing using negative numbers or negative indexing, imagine where will I keep the -1? And you can do the same thing. Basically, you can have the positive as well as negative indexing giving you the same value. That's what we are learning first. Then we'll understand negative slicing. So my question is, let me repeat it. When we're using negative indexing, look at this. Where do you think I should keep my -1? Should I keep my -1 here or somewhere else? Looking at this diagram, what do you think?
It should be at the last box.
Exactly.
Where 7?
Yes. Why? Because with negative x-axis, like I said, you have to go in this direction. So if we kept -1 here, then -2 will be here, -3 will be here, and this is nothing but garbage memory, right? So we can't do that. So the only way we can do it is if we start from here. Now we are going in this direction. It's 3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8. There's nobody who's asking me why are we starting here with 0 and not with -0. If you look here, it always is +0. There's no -0. It always goes in this direction as -1, -2, -3, -4. Anybody who did not get this? Because I can't move if you did not get this. Good. Now, see the beauty of this. What was the variable? Sport. Let's bring it back here. So sport of 3 and sport of -5. Can anybody tell me, looking at the diagram, what will be my output for both the lines? Simple, right? Nobody?
E.
Look at the diagram.
Yes.
Is it E for both?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
So that is a simple answer. That even using positive and negative indexing, you can get the same value. And that is 100% right. Let's see. There you go. E and E. Just that, not necessarily they will be same. Some people have this confusion in mind that they will be same. The only reason they will never be same is the positive always starts with 0 and negative always starts with -1. So first thing you should keep that in mind, that the same value, now I'm talking about the value, E is my value, right? Can be obtained using a positive indexing as well as a negative indexing. That is first concept to remember, right? Now let's come back to my formula. Let's bring it back here again. And let's start putting it. So first let me write it. Sport of it's 8. Sorry, -1 colon -8. All right, I'm going to give this. Now, don't jump up the answer, okay? Let's see who can answer this one. Can anybody do that? If you understood the formula, let's try. So what it will simply mean is this part is the only main thing. We are not going to say -8 -1 because that will give you -9. No, that's why I said this is very important. Now, like I explained in the positive direction, you go to that value and you stop one before. So now we are going in this direction, so you stop one before. That is what is meant by -1 here. So you're going to stop here when you're going in this direction, right? Is that understood to everybody, this part? Now, tell me the answer looking at it.
L to A.
So basically, you're saying it'll go all the way in the reverse till this A, correct?
Right.
That's what you mean. Let's write it. LLABESA. That is what he means. Starting from here, you go all the way here because we don't go till here, even though we have -8 because we stopped one level before. And that is correct. But the answer is not right. Can anybody tell me why? That is why negative indexing is important and challenging. So let's run it. Answer is blank. Space. But there is no space in baseball. The formula has nothing to do with this. The formula is still working perfectly. So what we missed is step value. Remember, I said step value has two roles. One, how many spaces you're going to jump, and second, which direction you're going to go. So when you give -1, -8, and you don't give a step value, default is what? It is treated as -1, -8, colon 1, +1, because default value is 1. And when you're giving this 1, that means you're telling it to go in this direction. And now apply the formula. Your start index is here, -1, right? Here. And you're saying your stop index is here, but you're asking it to go in this direction. What is the next value? Nothing. Garbage. That is why you're getting empty. Python could have said something better like you're out of bounds or something like that, but Python gives you a chance that you probably did something wrong. So what is the one change that we have to do in order to get this output? Can anybody tell me now? Very simple change. Colon -1. And there you go. We get what we were expecting. Right? Still confused? Anybody who did not get this? Why -1 was needed here? So again, I'm repeating it. Whenever you have to traverse in this direction. So remember, -1, -8 is just like this. You can get the same value by giving -1 and -8. But the traversal, whether in this direction or in this direction, happens based on the step value. That is very important. Excuse me. You cannot move in either direction until you know the step value. And because we did not give the step value, original question was this. Default is treated as +1. And when you're saying +1 and you're saying start at -1, which means you start at here and you go in this direction, there is nothing here. So the output was empty. But the moment I gave -1, now this is what we wanted. We start here, we go in this direction, and we stop again one value before, and that is why you don't see the B here. And that is what I mean by this -1 in bracket, that in the direction you're going, stop one value before. If you can remember this much, you will never have any issue. Oh, I didn't want it to delete it. Anyways, you will never have any issues in slicing or indexing, whether it's negative or positive. Any questions, confusions? I take it as a yes. Good. So now I know all of you have heard this. How do you get the reverse of a string or get the reverse of a list? If anybody has ever learned Python or read Python or started Python, everybody would know this answer, right? What is the answer? Colon, colon, -1, right? But now you know this because you don't have to mug it anymore. Why? Because let's do it again. Very simply, use my formula. A, B, B, A. How is it going to reverse the string? This is how we used to reverse, because when you don't give anything in the start value, what is it? Zeroth index. Zeroth index is this, correct? So you start here, but wait a second. Here, your step is -1. So that means this default will become -1, because now we're talking about going in the negative direction. So your start will become automatically this. When you don't give anything default, what will be the default value? Last but one, right? So technically here, this is the last but one, and then you say -2, -3, -4, and you're going in this direction because of -1. So you get the reverse string. And you might have heard about the palindrome string. Palindrome string is the one where you go this way or this way. Both are same. I think Malayalam, one of the previous students only told me that is also a palindrome string. So is mom also. So let me first prove it to you. So let's use a non-palindrome. Let's use my name. So I'll get the reverse of the string. See, TIKNA. So now if I want to check the palindrome, it's very simple. ABBA, and I think, like I said, MALYALAM. I think so. I hope. Even mom is a palindrome string. All these are palindrome strings. So how will you check it? Very simple fresh elevator interview question. If going in the positive direction versus going in the negative direction are same, if str1 of this equal to sorry, let me clean this up. I'll explain this, don't worry. Not this. str1 of -1, then it's a palindrome string. So we haven't talked about if, else. That is the next topic, not tomorrow, but much after. For now, just remember, just understand one thing. This just simply checks, and that's why you may see double equal to, because this is now comparison operator, not assignment operator. It is going to compare if this on the left-hand side is the same as this on the right-hand side. And this is a part of syntax which we'll learn in if and else. But for now, just remember this whole thing, all it is doing is if the contents of this are same as contents of this, then you're going to print this, otherwise print this. So when I give mom, obviously it's a palindrome string because MOM in both ways, you go here or you go here, it's the same. So now quickly understand what is this. Although if you put the formula, let me bring the formula again. So if you see this, there is no start value, no stop value, no step value. Everything has to be default. So very simple. Let's keep it like this. MOM. When you don't give anything in the start value, so I'm only talking about this part right now. I'm not concerned about this. So string one, because always left to right, right? No value, that means my default is 0. This is my 0, correct? So I'm putting my start here. If I'm not putting anything stop value, then I haven't mentioned it, but I'll mention it. Default is always, you're going to put this at the end, no -1 rule, the last value of the string. And when there is no step value, default is 1, meaning we're going in this direction because it's +1, and we're not skipping anything because it's 1. So we are saying MOM, and now if you look at this, we're just simply reversing the thing, which is you start at, this is -1, -2, -3. You start here and your stop is here. And because of this -1, you're going in this direction. So read the values now, MOM. And that's why it's a palindrome string. 1 second. Now let's try a thing which is not a palindrome string. Obviously, this is not. So now it is going to say it is not a palindrome string. Now you can ask me questions if you have. No questions? Excellent. So now you have to remember this, that you don't have to mug it up, but you know how it actually works, right? And one more thing, let's do that also. The slicing, the jumping, because of the step value, works the exact same way. So let me take a new example. Getting bored, right? So negative slicing and step value. str would be, I think, Python. Okay. -1 colon -5 colon -2. Or let's take -6. Let's draw this quickly. And I highly recommend you do this again, especially when you're new and you're learning. So T H I. Does anybody have a big name? Let's use a big name from here. Oh, everybody's good. THINK BYTHON. So I'm not going to write the positive way because we have to use negative indexing. Remember, first thing you should do is look at the step value. If it is not there, it's always positive. Remember that. So -1, -2, -3. And remember my positive x-axis and negative x-axis front up. So you'll never get this wrong. -9, -10, and -11. So now let's apply it. Everybody should be able to do it. This is my start index. What is my stop index? Can anybody tell me? Where should I keep it? Quickly,
Minus
who can tell
5.
me? -5, you
5.
said?
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. Because we're going in this direction and we stopped one value before. Awesome. And now -2, that means we are jumping by 1. So we're going in this direction. So obviously N, H, and Y. And we stop here because our stop index is here. So the answer should be N, H, Y. Let's run it. There you go. So again, I'm repeating, get some time, practice a lot, try these things, try different ways. First do this, do it yourself, then run it and verify if the answer is right or not, because that will make your fundamentals perfectly solid. And like I said, I'm not going to repeat this again because the same concept follows in lists, tuples, everywhere. The indexing doesn't change because that's an internal fundamental. All right, before I wind off, any questions?
Ankit, I installed VS Code and I don't get the
Mhm.
same windows and same options that you have. So maybe after the class you can
Yeah,
I can
I
share
can
my
stay back with
screen.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
thanks.
Sure.
Ankit, I'm back. So if you have time,
Mm.
we can talk.
Yeah, whoever has any issues, we can stay back. But I'm first asking if anybody has any issues on the topics we discussed, any questions, and let me know that. Okay, awesome. Then the rest can drop. Maybe Venki and it was Rajesh, I think. You guys can stay back and let's fix your issues one by one. But I'm going to stop the recording because others don't need to know that.